How's it going, everyone? It is Andre Williams, and over here we talk stocks and we focus on one thing. Always protect your profits. And you know what time it is. It is time for the joke of the day. If you're new to this channel, we do this 5 days out of the week. Maybe you had a long, maybe you had a stressful day, or maybe it was the market conditions while you came to watch this video, plus hear one of my corny jokes. Here it comes. What did the shark say when he ate the clownfish? This tastes a little funny. Not too bad. But anyways, what we're going to be talking about today is OCGN, which ended up seeing a pullback inside of the market. And those questions are coming in like, Dre, is it the time to buy right now? You see how volatile this play has been. I feel this is at the bottom. Well, you know what? We're going to talk about it more inside this video. I won't waste any more time. Let's jump into the agenda. If you're new to this channel, I just want to let you know we have timestamps down below inside the description. But if you're a shareholder or you're thinking about taking a position, I highly suggest you watch this full entire video. So the first thing we're going to go over is the technical analysis. We're going to be taking a look at the overall price action. We want to know support. We want to know resistance. We want to know those key levels in a bullish case scenario and as well as a bearish case scenario to make sure you can maximize your entries. And then we're going to go on Fintel, taking a look at the recent institutional ownership and as well as the short interest information. The reason why the short interest is important because it does have an impact on the way the stock performs. And then we're going to be taking a look at the order flow distribution. We want to know what was the buying and as well as the selling behavior like on the retail side and as well as on the institutional side. And then when all of that is done, we'll be going into the final thoughts and as well as some more details. So let's get to it. So we're going to do a technical analysis for OCGN. Let's see how it performed on the day. So it ended up closing at $8.30, being down 5.90%. On the low, it tested $8.27, and then on the high, testing $8.77. When we take a look at the volume stats on the day, you can see we traded at 11.579 million shares, and for the average volume over 10 trading days, being at 68.749 million shares. So one thing you notice right away, we did have well below the average when it came to volume, and it's part of the reasons why we ended up seeing some pressure on the stock. Now, when we take a look at our chart, which is a daily chart, you can see from the RSI down below, it is right at 44.67. And then when we take a look at the moving averages here on our chart, we are below the 21-day EMA. We're also below the 50-day. You can see here we're just above the 200-day, and we're also above the 100-day. So as you can see, we ended up breaking through that 50-day, and that's what we didn't want to happen. But of course, another thing that we did point out, we wanted to see if it did happen, it would bounce off the 200, and it did exactly that by getting to a low of 827. Of course, it was able to rebound off of this and close the day around 830, but going into tomorrow, if we break through this 200-day, then you're going to want to see some strength right off the 100-day here at $7.98, or we could just say $8 to be exact. This is usually a strong area of support for OCGN, but I can see it breaking through the $8 range, and this is where it could really start opening up some opportunities for entry. But again, we have to make sure that the price finds itself. We have to make sure as far as when we want to add to a position, it is finding a base. So just don't add automatically because it broke through $8. Now, as far as for the bullish case scenario, we did end up seeing a high of $8.77. So what you'd want to see right at the open, holding up this 830 level and then making that move going to $9 and seeing if we can get past that resistance area there. And if we're able to get past it, then I'm going to be looking forward to some momentum and then catching up to the 21-day EMA. But again, this is not going to happen unless we can hold up at least that 830 level and then get past that 877 and then make that move. So let's see how OCGN performs going into tomorrow. So we're going to take a look at the recent institutional ownership and short interest information for OCGN. So green rows indicate new positions and red rows indicate closed positions. So we're going to be taking a look at the date for November the 15th. So we have closed positions here for Fox Run Management LLC. We have an open new position here from Centtiva Capital LP that purchased 10,608 shares. We also have around 4 more institutions that close their position. We also have around 5 institutions that close their position as well. We have an open position here from Viridian Fund Management LLC that purchased just over 21,000 shares. And going down even further, we have two more institutions that closed out their positions. Notable names there, Wells Fargo. Now, as we go back to take a look at the short interest, the dark pool short volume ratio is at 48.31. And then for the dark pool short volume being just under 3.1 million shares. As we scroll down further on the page, the short shares availability is at 1.5 million, updated 21 minutes ago. And then for the short borrow free rate, it is at 2.14%. As we take a look at the history of the short volume ratio, you can see for the close for the 12th, so the Friday that just passed, it was at 48.31. So we haven't gotten the most updated numbers as of yet, so you can let me know inside of the comment section. But I know one thing for sure, this play will still continue to have short squeeze potential and will contribute to the volatility inside of the stock. So now let's jump into the order flow distribution. Now let's take a look at the order flow distribution for OCGN. So we can see here on the inflow, it was 16.91, and then on the outflow, it was 20.75. Taking a look at the breakdown, we had 0 on the large for both. On the medium, we had 9.80, and then on the small, we had 7.11. Taking a look at the outflow side on the medium, it was 14.05, and then on the small, we had 6.70. When we take a look at the large scale orders in the last 5 days, you could see for today, November the 15th, it was 0. When we take a look at the breakdown even further, you could see on the small, which tends to be the retail side, we had more buying than we had selling. Not surprised due to the fact we had a strong dip today. And then when we take a look at what was going down on the medium, that's where we had most of the selling that was happening. Now, when we take a look at the turnover ratio, we could see here it was at 5.85%. So this is fairly high, but at the same time, it also does show us there are still many who are holding on to their OCGN shares. So this is why it's very important to go over these numbers and have a good idea of what's going on with the stock. Also, keep in mind there wasn't a lot of volume either, so most of the selling that was happening, I'm not too worried about it. But for the most part, we have to continue to be patient with the price action. So now let's jump into the final thoughts and we'll go over some more details as well. So for my final thoughts for OCGN, we have to continue to have the wait and see approach. We know this play is also catalyst driven, and we are waiting to get that update from Health Canada. I feel like if that ends up coming through, then of course this stock can see quite a strong bounce. But for the most part, we have to wait. And many people that are inside of this play are impatient. And this is part of the reasons why you're seeing a lot of pressure on the stock. But one thing that was good to see as far as for the retail side, we had more buying than we had selling. And another thing also to take into consideration going on Fintel, this play does continue to have short squeeze potential. So if you have a lot of buying volume coming into the play, then you can see some strong moves to the upside that we saw not too long ago. And knowing that we've been having low volume is part of the reasons why we're not seeing as much price action. Another thing to also understand is that it's very important for OCGN to hold up $8. I was talking about, hey, we didn't want it to break through the 50-day. It ended up breaking through the 50-day. So going into tomorrow, if it decides to pull back even more, we want to see some continued strength right at $8. If we don't have that, then of course this can start visiting into the $7 range. But like I said, inside the technicals, just because this happens, it doesn't mean you should just jump in automatically. We want to make sure the price finds itself. We don't want to be in the middle of a falling knife, especially since we've been doing lower highs. This is a bearish trend, and I want to make sure that you guys are prepared. You do your homework, you do your due diligence, so you make sure if you are deciding to get into a position, you're going about it in the right way. So I hope you found this video helpful, and we'll be talking real soon.